Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hospitality Room presented by Mascot Media. Blair Cartwright, Bobby Swofford with you here on, as we tape this on a Wednesday. The NFL starts on Thursday. We've had a week of college football. We're coming off Labor Day. It's crazy. How are you, Mr. Swofford? Did you have a good Labor Day?
I did. It was good. Made the trip to Jonesboro for the weekend, catch a little UCA, Arkansas State, which I'm sure we might touch on in a few minutes. But it was a nice start to football season. I've got to go to New Mexico next week, which is going to be a little
Ooh,
bit wild. It throws a wrench in my football watching plans, but I'm excited. Football at all three levels is back: high school, college, and pro.
yes. And that is always a good thing. And we are all about football here in the Hospitality Room. So let's get right to our headlines. And the headlines are not working this week. Oh, yes, they are. Well, yeah, week one reactions. Yes, finally. It's the gremlins are out and trying to destroy our podcast. But um, let me show you this too. You were 6-4. I was 3-7. So I am obviously off to a horrible start. You're cooking with gas as always.
Yeah.
What'd you take away from this weekend other than the fact that if you're in the state of Florida, you are probably hiding in a basement if
Yeah.
you have a basement, but that's how bad things are down there.
It was. So if you're in the SEC and not named Florida, you're feeling, or Texas A&M, I guess you're feeling pretty good about yourself. A lot of points scored. Started with Arkansas last Thursday, and kind of ran through the rest of the league. Georgia, very very good. But you touched on it great right there. Florida State, they're in trouble. My boy Mike Norvell, former UCA Bear, 0-2 start for the Seminoles. Billy Napier may get fired in a couple weeks if they lose to UCF. I don't think there's not much rope left for him. But Miami, on the other hand, Miami looked pretty good. And Cam Ward was a really, really good quarterback that nobody had ever heard of at
Oh,
Washington State. And he's come in, and you saw that Clemson can't score on anybody. Florida State's really, really scuffling. Virginia Tech loses to Vanderbilt. My gosh, Vanderbilt, are you kidding me? So now you're looking at the ACC and saying, it's got to be Miami, right? They've got to be the favorite to
yeah.
win the league now.
But then they beat Florida, who's terrible. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, DJ looked awful at
Mm-hmm.
quarterback, which we kind of expected.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how good Miami is, but yeah, they appear to be the cream of the crop in the ACC, and someone's got to win that conference. And here's the crazy thing: whoever wins that conference is probably going to get a top four seed because they're conference champion the way it's structured, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they run the table, I mean, so if Miami's sitting there, obviously 13-0, you're going to give it to them. But if they're sitting there at 11-2 and they win the league, yeah, they very well could get a first round bye and get trounced by 11 seed in the second round of the
Yeah.
college football playoff. But they showed me a lot. Cam Ward's really really good. Yeah, but
Hmm.
defensively, they shut down Florida. I think that they scored themselves. Like, I turned it off late in the game, but I think I saw that they scored a defensive touchdown as well. Um, College football is more entertaining when Miami's good. Let's
Yes.
be real about that. College
You
football
need
is
a
more
villain.
entertaining when Nebraska's good. I'd really like to see Matt Rule play the villain this week and beat Colorado by
Mm.
100. Those are the teams that we need to be successful to have a great college football. That's why USC beating LSU was nice, because honestly, we need a team out west to be relevant.
Brian Kelly, I'm mad. I mean, he does that every year. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
man. I
yeah.
mean, USC's defense looked phenomenal.
Hmm.
Um, I, I don't know. It's easy to overreact on week one, but I mean, if Brian Kelly's already slamming the desk, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a good sign.
And this is before he knew his running back was out for the year, which just came across the,
Yes.
the Twitter feed a couple minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're in
And you
trouble.
know that LSU fans destroyed Vegas. I mean, just destroyed
Oh,
Vegas.
absolutely.
It's a wonder it's still standing. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. Is USC back? We'll see. I mean, there's just so many things. Oregon struggles against Idaho and probably
Hmm.
very fortunate to win. You mentioned the UCA Arkansas State game.
Yeah.
I mean, you were there. I was watching online. How on earth? and the conference has come out and said that they shouldn't have overturned it, which anybody
Right.
watching the stream could have known. I'm sure you could tell in the stadium. I mean, the original, it's got to be inconclusive evidence to overturn a call in the field. That wasn't even marginally close to
Yeah.
even being uh, viewable replay
Yeah.
wise, much less to overturn what
Yeah.
was really a thrilling end to a ball game.
It really was, and it made up for a first half that was awful. I mean, it's 13. It was 6-0 with about 50 seconds left in the first half. Then Arkansas
Wow.
State finally got in the end zone and made it 13-0. And you're like, all right, this is going to be ugly. And then UCA scores 10 points really quickly in the third quarter. Then they're all of a sudden it's 13-10. Then it's 27-10. You're like, all right, it's going to get out of hand. Then UCA pops an 80-yard touchdown. They play some defense. They get another drive. But to sum that up, I mean, there's two things that make a catch. You get a
Hmm.
foot in bounds and you catch the ball. Guy never
Yeah.
caught the ball. Like
Well,
he
then,
literally, the ball is laying on the ground.
yes, yes. He goes to the ground. You've got to maintain possession through the ground.
Mm,
I don't
yeah,
know that he even had possession
correct.
before
Going to the ground.
going to the ground. The ball and the official is right there.
Hmm.
And the camera angles were horrible. I mean, you're
And
looking
no
at a
reaction from the player.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
the one thing that will always tell you. He didn't argue
yes.
it at all.
No. And even in the press conference, he admits he didn't catch. And then Butch Jones is screaming in the back, "Oh, it's catch, catch!" I
Yeah.
mean, they stole one.
It was
And
a good weekend though, for the most part for the FCS. Because
yes,
you
oh
go back to
yes,
last week. Obviously, North Dakota State had every chance to beat Colorado. UCA had a good showing. Idaho, which is a top 10 team, played very, very well at Oregon. South Dakota State probably should have played a little bit better against Oklahoma State. The one turnover really cost them, and that kind of
hmm
put some distance there. But honestly, I think we're starting to see the FCS, at least the top half of the FCS, the top 25. It's not all that different than some of the conferences. The MAC, the Sun Belt, they're
no.
just as good as those teams.
Oh, they can play. They can play, and that's why a lot of these teams will not schedule them
Hmm.
because for that very reason. So, yeah, a very entertaining first week of college football. We've got a lot of good, well, it's a marginal week. Good games with the NFL starts. So, with that in mind, let's go to the picks. Arkansas and the Mullet in Stillwater, 7.5 point favor. I heard Gundy talking this morning on Full Ride. Now he's got a perm thing going.
Hmm.
I mean, just, but he's got an experienced quarterback and he's got his experienced running back. Arkansas put up 70, 10
Yep.
out of 10 on touchdown drives against probably one of the worst teams in college football, to be honest.
Yep.
What do you think?
This line opens a lot larger. And then 2 weeks ago, the ESPN Power Index or whatever had Oklahoma State as like an 80% chance to win this game. Now it's at 55-45. Arkansas opened some eyeballs in that season opener against, albeit UAPB. I still don't think Arkansas goes on the road and wins this game. I don't. I'm a show me person, and so until the Razorbacks win a meaningful game and they block somebody who is has a pulse, I can't pick them to win the game outright. But I'm going Arkansas to cover. I think this is a competitive game. I think it's an interesting game. The 11 a.m. kick is going to help the Hogs. Slowing down Aldi Gordon is going to be priority number one. But if Arkansas can do that, I think they can keep it close. So Hogs plus 7.5.
I took the Hogs and gave the no, I took UAPB and took the points and got
Mm-hmm.
killed. Did the same thing with SMU, so I'm done with gambling for life.
Yeah.
Uh, man, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Mullet just because I think Gundy knows this is a statement game.
Big
He's
game.
getting a lot of press this week, and this is a chance for him to plant his flag because let's face it, if they lose, whoever loses this game is in a deep hole with their fan
Mm-hmm.
base.
Yep.
And I think being on the road is, and just the little bit of experience that Oklahoma State's backfield has, I think that can be the difference in this ball game. But it would not shock me to see Arkansas make it close for to the final 2 minutes.
This is a game that needs to happen on a regular basis, though.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I mean, and it should have happened prior to now.
Yeah.
But I guess better late than never, right? I mean, they're going to get more out of this game, win or lose, than if they played UAPB not well. Oh, God forbid they'd play them 9 times. But I mean, you get nothing out of that game. Granted, people played, but
Yep, I'm with you.
I don't know.
Needs to happen. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Kansas State. Put them on a 3-year rotation. Play one of those schools every 3 years.
If nothing else, recruiting would make more sense because, I mean, yeah, it's just, and your fan base can travel.
Correct.
So it'd be fun. Everybody wants to go to Eskimo Joe's too. Texas at Michigan. The line seems low to me. Texas looked pretty good. Michigan, kind of iffy at home against Fresno State. What do you think in the big house?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Michigan had all the drama in the offseason after winning a national championship. Obviously Harbaugh leaving and their coach being suspended for the opener. Didn't look great against Fresno. It was a close game I know people are going to see 30-10. It's like, oh, you blew them out. It was a lot closer than that for most of that contest. That being said, Texas looked pretty good against a bad Colorado State team, albeit. I like Texas. I think Texas has got a chance to make some real noise this year. Maybe more than likely get back to the college football playoff, especially if they win at the big house, which I kind of think I'm leaning to them winning this one outright, to be quite honest. I think Texas is a better team after one game. So I guess hook them. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, we normally don't say that on this podcast, but I think this is one week where you have to. Yeah, I just don't see how Michigan even keeps this close. There's too much speed and burn orange, and yeah, their eyes are going to be bleeding by the end of the ball game. So we'll both go with the horns there. Intriguing matchup in Charlotte, Tennessee at NC State. The Wolfpack getting 7.5. They've got an experienced quarterback who's from Coastal Carolina. His last name now suddenly escapes me, even though I've heard him talking about Tennessee's got the new quarterback. McCall, Grayson McCall, is at NC State. Nico making his second start at Tennessee. Man, Dave Doran teams are tough to score on. 7.5's a lot.
It is. You mentioned the two quarterbacks. McCall throws for 300 plus last week. One guy who I think is maybe the best running back in college football nobody talks about is Dylan Sampson. Dude can go for Tennessee. Nico Iamolivia, or however you pronounce his last name. He can spin. I love Heupel, and I love the offense, and I love what he's done with Tennessee. I think they're a sneaky team in the SEC this year. I like them to win this game. I like their offense more so than NC State's because of that running back Sampson. So I'll take Squirrel Whites and company with Tennessee. I think this is an interesting game. I'll top 25 matchup too. But I'll take the Vols in Charlotte to win it and cover it.
Ooh. I think Tennessee wins, but I think NC State covers.
Okay.
So we'll roll with that. Plain and simple. Nothing fancy. Gamecocks at Kentucky. The Cats, 10-point favorites. Oh, the Shane Beamer era may be coming to an end soon in Columbia.
Yeah, the South Carolina just left a lot to be desired last week, didn't they? It just didn't look very good against Old Dominion.
And should have lost the game.
Yeah, 10 points is a lot, but Vandegrift's experienced quarterback for Kentucky. Them playing at home, that's become a really tough place to play. Who knew Kroger was a hard place to go out and compete? But
yeah,
I'll take Kentucky minus the 10. I think South Carolina is in for a tough long year.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a cleanup on aisle 3, and it's going to be a dead Gamecock, and they're going to need a mop. So we both go with the Cats in that one. Iowa has found offense. 40 points last week. Holy cow. Hawkeye fans are probably in a drunken stupor still. The Cy-Hawk Trophy on the line in Iowa City, and the Hawkeyes are 2.5-point favorites.
Is that the spread or is that the over-under, that 2.5?
The over-under is 35. So I need your pick with the spread, with or without the spread, and the over-under.
I will take Iowa for win the game. And they're just a lot better team than Iowa State is. I mean, that's really all there is down to that. The over-under of 35 and a half.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh,
Iowa coming off a 40-point game. I mean,
yeah,
by
but against
themselves.
yeah, was it Drake? I think is who they played.
But it's Iowa and it's
Yeah,
40. I mean, when's the last time they scored 40?
give me that under.
Nin-
If you can see my hand down
1950?
here, it's way down
All
here.
right.
The under.
Going under. I will take the Cyhawks. Or not the Cyhawks, the Cyclones. Lord,
All
I've
right,
lost my mind. I'll take the
maybe the
Cyclones in
trophy.
an upset because
Yeah.
Iowa's a gal with all their offense and they're they can't handle it. It's too
Mm-hmm.
much. I will take the over for
Okay.
giggles. The game that has disappeared now from the oh
That's a
Lord.
tough one to call there.
That's a tough one to call. Colorado at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska's a 7-point favorite.
I don't know. I mean, like Colorado's offense looked pretty good against North Dakota State, but they're supposed to, and
Mm-hmm.
they had a lot of speed and they had guys running wide open. Nebraska put up a 40 burger on UTEP, which is intriguing.
Yeah, with the
And I thought
freshman
Matt Rule was
quarterback.
going. Yeah, I thought Matt Rule was going to have a lot of success there. So I'm going to lean to the home team in this one, which gives me Nebraska. That
Mm-hmm.
7 scares me a little bit though.
Yeah.
I'll take Nebraska outright. I mean, and I'll take them with minus the 7 even. But I think this one's an interesting game.
Oh, I agree. I'm with you. I'm taking the Huskers and laying the points. Colorado, I don't think has a running game.
Mm-hmm.
So if Shador is not on, and heaven forbid, his top 2 receivers, I forget the other kid's name, but Hunter was incredible. But if he gets
Yeah,
hurt, they're not only hurt on offense, they're hurt on defense as well.
right.
So, I mean, injuries are going to happen. But I think the lack of a running game, the pressure though on Matt Rule to win this game is unbelievable.
Yep.
Pressure on Dion too. So we'll see what happens there. All right, to the NFL. It is week 1. Our picks and the Gremlins are again just biting at our ankles. The Ravens are at the Chiefs. Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, all the fireworks and the celebration and the banner unveil is going to happen tomorrow night for Kansas City. Um, these are the games that Kansas City loses, though. I mean, they lost to Detroit. Was it last year in the season opener, year before?
Yes,
I
yes,
guess
it
it was last
was.
year. Had to have been last year. Um, Lamar Jackson's had this game circled forever, and Lamar Jackson's unstoppable in September and October. And we know that. The problem is he's not worth much in January. So
Yes.
I'm going to go Baltimore in the season opener just because it's going to mean more to the Ravens. They've kind of brought in some new pieces, especially on defense. I think they're going to have an answer. No Hollywood Brown going to affect Kansas City. Juju not going to be the answer they're looking for, even though they signed him late in free agency. So give me Baltimore.
I'll take the Chiefs at home. Andy Reid coming off a bye, if you will, is
A
tough.
long bye.
Yes, it is. But I think Baltimore's got some issues on the offensive line. The Chiefs, after last year, are not going to drop this one at home. In Brazil, Packers at Eagles. No one knows what to expect. There's issues about the turf. The crowd's not going to know what they're going to see. Eagles minus 2.5, which surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, because that spread is so low, I'm going to go Philly. I do think they bounce back and have a better year. Obviously, they gave Jalen Hurts a bunch of weapons. When you can trade for a Jahan Dotson, I know he didn't work out with the Commanders, but he's your number 3, and you've paid your other receivers. I like Philly in this game. If it was above 3.5 to 4, I might go the other way because I think it's a compelling game because the teams aren't allowed to leave their hotels because of gangs down there.
Yeah.
But I'll go Philly since it's by a field goal or less.
Give me the Packers. Sirianni and Hurts are going to get into a fist fight on the sideline. How
Love it.
about that? Steelers, Falcons. Falcons minus 3. That's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, I mean, if Kirk Cousins is healthy and he plays, I mean, they're a better team. Even though
Well,
Kyle Pitts has started his "I'm hurt all the time" trend because he already didn't practice this week.
Well, the Steelers don't have a quarterback, and I heard
Uh,
Tomlin talking about, oh, I'm not going to talk about the offense, blah blah blah, and it's like, okay,
mhm.
they're done. Bears and Titans. Titans at the Bears. Bears minus 3.5.
This game is going to be really really fun. Not only because I think the Bears have a chance to be sneaky good. I mean, it's the first time we're going to the Hard Knocks team is always fun to watch. I think Chicago's a 10-win team. I really do. If Caleb Williams is even half of what we think he is, they're going to win a bunch of games, and that's got to start on Sunday. Got to beat the teams you're supposed to. So it starts there with the Titans. So I'll go Bears.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Bears win. Titans. I don't know what to expect on offense. Derrick
Mhm.
Henry's not there. Um,
Yeah.
Will Levis. I'm not sold, and he smells like mayonnaise. So
Mhm. They
that's
do have a
never.
really good receiving core, so you give them that. I
Yeah,
mean, with
but he
DeAndre
can't get him the
Hopkins, Traylon
ball.
Burks, yeah, Calvin Ridley's there now. But
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. Got to be able to
eh,
protect your quarterback, and he's got to be able to throw it for those guys to
yeah.
catch it.
Texans at Colts. The Colts are getting 3.
Yeah, it's probably not enough. The Texans, to me, are maybe the biggest threat outside of Miami to the Chiefs. I think the Texans are primed for a run. I like Houston.
We're going to jump around just so we get the good games in. Jets, 49ers, Monday night. 49ers are 4-point favorites.
Yeah, give me the 49ers and all of it. So they got Ayuk deal locked up. They got Trent Williams locked up to extensions and new contracts. Aaron Rodgers coming off of hadn't played in a year and a half now. I don't care what the revamped offensive line has done for the Jets. It's not going to be enough. 49ers at home.
I will take the Jets because I think the 49ers win it by field goal. I think Rodgers
Okay.
comes out and has a massive game, and then before they sink into the abyss that is the toilet. The Rams are at the Lions Sunday night. Lions are giving 3.5.
Yeah, I don't know why this game's that close. I mean, I get the whole
Yeah.
Stafford golf deal, and that's why it's on Sunday night. Blah blah blah. The Lions are a significantly better team. Give me Detroit, and I don't know that this one's close at all.
I think Ford Field will be worth 7 points. It is
Yeah.
going to be I mean, we saw him at the draft. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, I mean, I don't know if they've ever had Sunday night football or even when was the last time they were even on Monday night. They've
Mm-hmm.
had a prime time window like this. Oh, Detroit is going to go nuts. So give me the Lions. Um, Cowboys Browns. Tom Brady makes his television debut, uh, but the Cowboys are getting 2.5 in Cleveland, which I find a little surprising, but then again, not so.
Yeah, I just everybody tells me that Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback except for the eye test.
Yeah.
Like so, everybody talks about how great he is, and they've got this and they've got that. Nick Chubb, obviously not there. So I don't get this at all. Give me the Cowboys all day in this one. Even though I don't think the Cowboys are going to be great, I think they're a 500 team at best. I just think they're better in Cleveland.
Yeah, I just don't see how Cleveland scores. Deshaun Watson has not done anything when
Mm-hmm.
he's been the Browns would be better served if he left. So yeah, we'll see. Vikings at Giants. The Giants are getting 1.5 points.
Yeah, I mean, so the Giants have to win, and Daniel Jones has to play well. And Daniel Jones apparently is playing really well on off the field. If he's dating Kay Adams, so kudos to you, Daniel Jones.
Oh,
That was in the news earlier this week for whatever reason. So
yeah.
only because it's Sam Darnold at quarterback for the Vikings, I'm going to pick the Giants. Probably the only time I'm going to pick the Giants all season if they're playing bums like Sam
Ooh.
Darnold.
Well, I heard the new episode of or another episode of Hard Knocks came out, and Daniel Jones was not very well talked about in that by his own staff. Which
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, after watching that, it's like I am not picking the Giants unless I absolutely have to. I'll go with the Vikings. I think the Giants are a mess,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
agree.
no wonder why. All right, what else have we got here? Commanders of Buccaneers. Jane Daniels makes his debut in Tampa. Baker Mayfield, though, and his squad are giving 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think Daniels is going to make the Commanders a lot better. Adding Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner on the defense. Obviously Dan Quinn taking over. they're going to be a lot more competitive. They're not going to be nearly as dismal as they have been in the past. But Tampa was smart. They locked up what they needed to. They brought back Baker Mayfield. They lock up Mike Evans. They're going to be able to score some points. Well, I don't know what the over under in this one is, but I'd probably take the over without even looking at it. I think there's going to be a bunch of points, but just because of the experience factor and playing at home, I like the Bucks.
Okay. I'll take the Commanders in the points. I think it's a field goal game. It's going to be one of those, like you, take the over. It's going to be wild up and down. I don't know if anybody plays any defense. So it should be, it'll be that entertaining game that no one saw coming, which I don't know if this will be the case. Broncos, Seahawks, Seattle giving 6.
It's only 43.5 for Washington, Tampa.
Ooh.
Like the over there.
Yeah.
I mean, Bo Nix making his NFL debut as the starter for the Broncos, and I think Geno's still the quarterback for the Seahawks. I mean,
Yeah.
you got a new coaching staff there.
6 is a lot, isn't it?
6 is a lot. I guess give me Denver to cover as I knock out my headphones.
Okay. I'll take Denver as well. Raiders, Chargers. The Harbaugh era begins, and the Chargers are 3-point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, if it was any other situation, like you'd pick against the Chargers because I don't know who Herbert's going to throw to, but it's the Raiders who have zero quarterback. So I guess give me the Chargers in Harbaugh's debut.
Cardinals at Bills. Bills 6.5-point favorites.
That's too big of a number. If Kyler Murray's a shell of what he can be, they can at least cover that. I think Buffalo has close to double-digit losses this year.
Ooh, okay. I'll take the Bills. To be contrarian. Okay, we'll write that down. Bills, double-digit losses. I hate to do it to you. Patriots at Bengals. Bengals giving 8.5.
Give me the Pats. That defense is too good. I was texting with my good friend Dave, our good friend Dave Walker, earlier today.
Yes.
I was a diehard Bengals fan. Obviously, Jamar Chase, he was at practice today. Don't know how much he's going to play. New England's not going to get blown out, though. They may not score any points, but they're not going to get blown out. I think this is like a 13-9 game. So give me New England to cover.
I'll take the Bengals. I think I hate to say it. I think they blow them out. Jaguars at Dolphins. Dolphins just 3.5-point favorite. That's
odd. People are high on the Jags. Where does Trevor Lawrence replace the production that Calvin Ridley gave them? Is the question. I know they went out and got Gabe Davis. Not nearly as explosive though. So I'll take Miami to cover. It's surprising the spread's that low though.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Give me the Dolphins all day long. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence. Nothing personal. I'm just not. And then the game nobody hopes is on their TV. Panthers at Saints.
Oh.
And the Saints, who are terrible, are giving 4.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints just because Carolina's really bad.
Yeah, all right. Well, those are the picks. If you have picks, you can send them to us. We will definitely figure those into the mix and
game predictions or photos, either way.
Yes, or both. Hey,
yeah.
Hit us up on Twitter, HPMN Podcast, or you can just add at Gmail. Email us as well. Man, I can't wait. Football's here. It's just it's glorious. But the DirecTV, ABC, Disney thing. Oh man, I'm dying. I got to break out the rabbit ears to be able to watch the Razorback game on Saturday.
Yeah, that's got to be a little depressing for a lot of DirecTV fans. That $20 rebate they're going to give you is not going to account for much. But I know we're running out of time, Blair, and you're a big fan of sports reporters like I am.
Yes.
Covering TV. The Sports Reporters is back on ESPN. I watched yesterday's episode. It's pretty good.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. ESPN or ESPN Plus? Because I can't watch ESPN on ESPN.
It was on
Plus.
YouTube. They put the whole thing on YouTube. Watch it.
Glorious.
Check it out,